Welcome to the Keepsake box. This content is created and narrated by Shandora Warren, produced by Simone Devereaux Entertainment, music by Epitome Sound. Grab a seat and join me for a rise and fall of epic proportions. Shelonda's story is one that will be familiar to many. Trapped in an abusive marriage, she wonders how she has allowed her life to spiral so far out of control. Fresh on the heels of her husband's latest attack, Shelonda starts to recount the details of her life in an attempt to better understand how her situation came to be. What made her so broken that she accepts abuse at the hands of someone who is supposed to love her? The Keepsake box follows the process of Shelonda systematically accumulating the things that have filled her emotional keepsake box, the very things that have contributed to her being a victim. This is the beginning of Shelonda's quest to find the answers that will assist her in disposing of the emotional keepsake box. But will the answers come too late? Chapter 1, Destiny. Narrated by Shandora Warren. Music by Epidemic Sound. It's 7:00 a.m. and I'm starting my morning routine. I've cooked turkey bacon and scrambled eggs for David, boiled eggs and fruit for me. David prefers fresh squeezed orange juice, but I'm more of a water person. I look at David's bacon and consider eating a piece. I think better of it when I consider how feverishly I exercised just 30 minutes ago. I arrange David's plate as perfectly as possible and pour juice into his favorite glass. I walk to the bedroom door and hear that the shower is no longer running. Once again, my timing is impeccable. I try to ensure that his breakfast is ready when he exits the bedroom, but not so early to the point that it's cold. David exits the bedroom wearing a perfectly tailored gray suit and expensive black Italian leather loafers. He alternates between checking his watch and fixing his tie. The smile on his face lets me know that I've done well. Well, I think I've done well, but David can be a bit unpredictable at times. I stand adjacent to my chair and wait for David to join me. He walks over and gives me a quick peck on the cheek before he sits. Yes, I have done well. I eat my breakfast slowly and make sure to take small sips of water every 2 to 3 bites. I once read an article which claims that drinking water between bites may help you to feel fuller faster. I don't know if there's any validity to that claim, but I figure it's worth doing if it works. If you haven't noticed, I'm a bit preoccupied with my weight. I'm not considered to be heavy by most standards, but I'm aware of how hard it is to get the weight off once it's been gained. That's not a problem I prefer to have. I look at David. He's chattering, seemingly endlessly about some big case he's working on. I'm relieved he hasn't noticed that I've zoned out as he's speaking. David hates to be ignored. But I have a lot on my mind. This is a big day for me. David continues with his story. He's using legal jargon that's incomprehensible to me. I smile and nod, pretending that I know exactly to what he's referring. This is our normal every morning routine. David talks about something, and I pretend to be interested. I watch him speak and wonder how someone can be so attractive and so ugly at the same time. David finishes his breakfast, and I walk over to retrieve his dishes. He stands up with a smile and wipes his mouth with the napkin that I've placed adjacent to his plate. Without provocation, David backhands me across the face. Instinctively, I put my arms up to protect myself against the subsequent blows that seem inevitable. Outsmarting me, as he often does, David punches me in the stomach, causing me to fall onto the floor. I know better than to challenge him, so I decide to remain on the floor and wait for the attack to be over. I guess he's running late because he simply steps over me, as if I'm a log on the ground. David adjusts his tie and checks his watch. He retrieves his jacket from the coat rack and opens the door. I feel the brisk air on my back, alerting me that my shirt has somehow been ripped in the scuffle. Knowing that the attack is over, I turn to face David. His face is calm, content even. Without any inflection in his tone, he says, "When I talk, I expect you to listen." I guess I was more transparent than I thought. I look at David and give him a stiff smile. "Yes, sir," I said. For some reason, I'm expecting a reciprocal grin. Living up to his ability to surprise me, David simply tells me to clean up the mess. He exits. I sit on the floor for a while, making sure that David isn't going to surprise me and double back. Once I'm content in thinking that he's gone, I walk over to the window. Peering through the blinds, I see that David's car is no longer in the driveway. I breathe a sigh of relief and collapse onto the chair. For a few minutes, I think about how different things should have been. According to those around us, David and I have the perfect life. He's a successful attorney, and I'm the perfect stay-at-home wife. I wonder what people would think if they knew the truth. Would they think I was crazy for staying if they knew that David had been battering me for years? Would they smile and nod if they knew he liked to rape me, even though he never had to? If they were watching, how surprised would they be that I didn't even attempt to fight back? They would be shocked. Actually, I'm shocked as well. This isn't me. This isn't the person I am. Well, this isn't the person that most people believe me to be. I've always been so strong. I'm the oldest, and my sister has always looked up to me. I can't imagine how she'd perceive me if she knew I cried myself to sleep after smiling all day. I'm leader of the pack within my circle of friends. I wonder if they would feel sorry for me if they saw how I allowed myself to be dominated by my husband. Would they be shocked that I referred to him as sir? Maybe they would talk about me. After all, I have single-handedly talked some of them into and out of several relationships. Yes, they would definitely talk about me. And who could blame them? I tear myself away from my thoughts and pick up the papers that were scattered as a result of David's latest tantrum. I go into the kitchen drawer and retrieve the envelope for today. David leaves an envelope for me every day. I never know what's going to be inside. Sometimes it's something that he wants me to cook. Other times it's a list of things he wants me to do. On a few occasions, he left instructions on what he wanted me to be wearing when he returned home. I think that got old to him though. David likes to take me out of the way. I guess it was too easy for me to just wear what he requested. Instead, he opts to make it interesting for himself. On one occasion, David left a note requesting an elaborate meal. I spent a large portion of the day gathering ingredients. I went to several markets to ensure that I had exactly what was needed. I spent a tremendous amount of time cooking it just as he requested. When David arrived home from work, he commented on how good the food smelled. He then asked me to pack his portion into containers so he could take it to work the next day. He told me that he and Sean had stopped by the bar and that he wasn't hungry. Just like that. I glanced at David and noticed that he was smiling. He derived pleasure from taking me over the edge. That was my life with him. It was one mind game after another. I opened the envelope and read the note. Baked chicken, homemade mashed potatoes, and asparagus. Sounds simple enough. My only hope is that David doesn't call midday to change the plan. That's another one of his favorite tricks. I look into the freezer. No chicken. I instantaneously know that there will be no potatoes or asparagus either. I knew it wouldn't be that simple. I gather my things and prepare to go to the grocery store. I smirk when I think about the fact that I use boxed potatoes, a fact that David isn't aware of. I usually boil one potato and mix it in for chunk factor. Unless he's home, of course. I learned that trick from our former maid. She's no longer here. I exit the house and get into the brand new luxury car that David purchased for my birthday. We really do look the part. The outside world has no idea what my life is really like, but they'll get a small glimpse of it on this day. I look at the odometer and write down the mileage, just in case my day doesn't go as planned. How did things end up this way? I guess I was groomed to be this person. It was my destiny. How so? Let me explain. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow Shenny Tells a Story on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in purchasing books by Shandora Warren, they're all available on Amazon. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for helping me to create the world that I want to see. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Shine, little girl.